All right, we back. Come on, fall in, fall in. We had a little technical difficulty, but we back. We got it right. Yes. Oh, we're gonna come back to that. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, sorry about them technical difficulties. Glad y'all tapping back in. I'm gonna read something about astrology. We're gonna tie that back into the Moorish teachings, and then we're gonna get to the topics. Peace, 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 peace. There it is, there it is. Little hiccups, but we back at it. We back at it like we never left. Y'all back in? Okay. Hmm. Yeah. If you haven't read this book, When the Rocks Cry Out, Horace Butler, amazing book. You should definitely check it out. I don't even want to get into the jewels and all the treasures that's in there. You're just gonna have to check that one out for yourself right now. I ain't gonna read that one. Once again, if you haven't got this one, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, you just gotta, understand Negro more. You just gotta translate it. Don't worry about that. We're gonna get to the SGC, the Supreme Grand. We getting to that. Just relax. We got time. I got time today. I got some time today. You feel? uh, let's see. Mm-hmm. Just looking to see if I could just stumble upon a fact here in this book, but I'm gonna leave it alone today. Just letting everybody file in. 100 Amazing Facts About the Moors. I wanted to get to this astrology reading real quick. Then we get into the Supreme Grand Council, and then I also, what was it was another topic I wanted to speak on. Supreme Grand Council. And I'm blanking on the other one. I'm hoping it's gonna come back to me. But first, let's get to astrology, then Supreme Grand Council. Here we go. The science of astrology is returning to public favor very rapidly. It is the oldest science in the world, and it had its beginning with the creation of the world. There came upon earth a few centuries ago certain rulers of nations who were very selfish and wished their people to become ignorant. So the study and practice of the practical side of the science of astrology was forbidden by law, in order that the rulers might govern the nations with an iron hand. Consequently, the generations which followed from that era to the present were taught to believe that the science of astrology was a myth, a superstition, or something to be shunned. Real quick, I remember when I was growing up, astrology, that was always seen as like this big joke, like, read your astrology sign when you're in line at the grocery store or the supermarket. And it was in like the little tabloids and like these little books in the aisle right in the front. But it was never framed or presented to me as a science. And it wasn't until I studied later that the science aspect of it really opened up. Where am I at? Here we go. No one can study the science of astrology and watch the reactions of daily life to planetary vibrations and still maintain a belief that the science of astrology is a fake. We are in this day living in an enlightened age. Therefore, the practical science of astrology will attain an important place in human society for years to come. The science, and this is the last little piece. The science of astrology is the only science which enables mankind to know themselves. Let me read that one more time because that's a deep statement. The science of astrology is the only science which enables mankind to know themselves. And this is coming from The Circle of Life, C and Bay, Clock of Destiny. Shout out to RV Bay Publications. That's where I got this book at. And I wanted to read, I read that last sentence over about the science enabling us to know ourselves. Because if we come back to that, oh, you seen it, Abdul. I see you seen it there, brother. I see. Know thyself. What does that say right there? Boom, 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 right there. Right from the gate. First page. Know thyself. You got to use the science to know yourself. Well, what do I mean by that? See, because boom, right here, this is just one of the books I have. This is Parker's Astrology, The Definitive Guide to Using Astrology in Every Aspect of Your Life. Julie and Derek Parker. I have another one called like the only astrology book you ever need, or something like that, which is also very good. I think I use that one more than this one, but both good. But the way that I understand it is, I break it down like this. We know that the sun has an effect on us because when we're out in the sun, you know what I mean, and it's beaming, we get darker. And if we stand out there too long, you can get sunburn. We also know that the moon has an effect because, you know, we always hear about, you know, the full moon's out, people acting crazy, or, you know, the full moon, it affects the tides and the waters of the planet. And I can't remember if it's the tide goes out or the tide comes in, whichever is which. But I know that there's a connection between the moon and the waters on this planet. And also, we know that our bodies are comprised, I believe, of 70% water. So we have a clear understanding that both the sun and the moon have an effect on us right now in this right here on Earth. A real physical, tangible effect that we have some sort of understanding. Taking that logic, it is not a far leap to presume that the other planets also have an effect on us. And when you understand that, then you understand the science behind astrology, because it breaks down where the planets were when you were born and what their effects, the energies that they put into you or was absent in, you know, when you were created, when we were born. And, you know, that is manifested into the different signs, Leo, Virgo, blah, 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 blah. But the science of it is real, man. And when you get into, you know, really doing your chart in terms of finding out where you were on the earth by longitude and latitude, what time exactly you were born so that you can find exactly where the planets were. When you start getting into it on that level, on that scientific level, then you really start to know yourself. You know what I mean? Then it's not just some cute, you know, what's your sign? Oh, I'm a Libra, you know, I like long walks on the beach, that type of stuff. Let's see. Just saying. Yeah, 73% water, peace. Yeah. Garbados, yeah, RV Bay. RV Bay Publications, amazing. Cool. And if you can, anybody right now that's watching this, share this out if you can with the peoples on social media, Facebook or whatever, or just to someone that you may know that is like might be up studying late. You know what I mean? Those kind of folks want to tap in. You know what I mean? I worked in a hospital during full moons. For crazy, interesting. So I will humbly suggest that you look into the science of astrology because it's real. Now let's get into the topic of tonight. The Supreme Grand Council of the Moor Science Temple of America. And I just checked earlier today in the video I did a week ago, something like that, about the Supreme Grand Council. It has about 1,000 views now. And at the very end of the video, I made it very clear this was for all Moors, Moorish Americans, members of the Moorish Science Temple, any officer, Grand Sheik, Grand Governor, chairman, Supreme Grand Sheik, Assistant Grand Sheik, treasurer, business manager, secretary, anybody in the movement, the Moorish Divine and National Movement, anymore. I would like for you to go out and ask your sheik, ask the leader of your temple, ask, your friend has been a Moor for a long time and been studying. I want you to ask them about the Supreme Grand Council and just see what they say. Nobody ever said, yeah, man, I asked such and such, and this is what they said. It didn't happen in the comment section. Didn't happen in my email. No, none of that. No text. I've been seeing some videos going out here and there. Everyone seems to be quiet about the Supreme Grand Council. So I want to talk to you guys, since you're on here right now, talk with me. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Moors are so afraid to address this topic? Let me know. Let me know what you feeling. Talk to me. Just to mention it. Let me build on that, Tariq. When I first learned about Noble Drew Ali, what really struck me is that I started to listen and I would ask people, and I noticed no one ever wanted to talk about this dude, this guy that was a prophet named Noble Drew Ali. How come ain't nobody talking about this guy? And when I would ask people, they bob and weave, they get up out of that, you know what I mean? Didn't want to address that. And I said, that's because you're touching on something that's real. You're touching on something that they don't want the masses of people to really discuss. Then when I got to the movement and I got in here and then I started asking the people, I said, man, like, how come we ain't using the Supreme Grand Council? Because it seemed like this would clear up all the issues. Yeah, so Islam, brother, let's read in the Quran. Let's go. And it's like always it's avoiding. Everybody just want to ignore it, acting like it's not there. Like Noble Drew Ali didn't create this. But he's the prophet. You're supposed to be a follower, faithful. You know what I mean? Everybody quiet. People that I love, still quiet. We have as a people, and we can see it in R. Kelly and all the stuff. We haven't been holding ourselves accountable. We like to blame other people. Oh, well, they ain't doing this. The Nation of Islam and this person and that person. What? Where is that Bible? I'm about to break the Bible out on you. We're gonna take them to church. Can I get a Bible in here? Can I get a Bible? Somebody got a Bible for me? Pull up Matthew 7:3. Don't worry, I'll wait. Don't worry, I'll wait. Let's get that Bible in here now. Well, I ain't got the Bible right now. But Matthew 7:3 basically is talking about why do you notice the splinter in my eye and not the log in your own? Translation, why do you notice the small issues and mistakes in me and not the gigantic issues in yourself? And I'm saying that to us Moors, that we seem to be noticing issues in other people, and yet the issues that are most pertinent with us, I don't see nothing. What you talking about, Supreme Grand Council? Where you see that at? I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? That ain't right, man. We got to hold ourselves accountable. It's the same now. Tariq said it's the same now. seems most take and use what benefits them from what the prophet said. No one is doing what was said. So my question is, what now? All this confusion. That's a very good. I'm gonna answer that question in a second. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam, brother. What's alaikum? That'll address the wrong Moors. That'll address the wrong Moors not ready to deal with. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But your question is, what now? And this is why I keep stressing to you, Tariq, and everybody else watching, y'all got to ask the question. It can't just come from me and then people sit on the sideline like, well, Robbie said Supreme Grand Council. Let's see what other Moors say. Cujo, Sabir, Taharka. Ain't nobody saying that. I guess I'll just be quiet too. No, this is on you too. Yeah, it's on all of us. That's the point I'm hopefully driving home. It's not just on one person. It's on everybody. We all accountable. The officials, the people that was in the leadership positions that was supposed to be doing the job, it's on them for not doing the job. It's also on the grand body or the nation of people that they were supposed to hold them accountable and get them up out of that seat if they weren't doing the job. So it's on all of us. It ain't on, we can't just put the blame on the people that was supposed to be doing it and didn't. Because we had to blame for not moving them out and then putting someone in place that will do the work. And you can translate that over just outside of the Moorish Science Temple of America and look towards the United States of America and us supposed to be enforcing the Constitution. But we are not. You know what I'm saying? And that's on, I mean, it's on the people that are corrupt and that have corrupted this government and turned it into a democracy and not a republic. Yeah, it's on them. But it's also on the nation of people that allowed it to happen. You can't escape that. You can't escape that responsibility. You want to. It's easy to just blame the people, the couple of people. It's easy to just blame R. Kelly, but it was so many people around that situation that allowed it to happen. That was silent when they needed to speak up. This is the reality. And I've seen this across many different issues. We too silent and we not holding ourselves accountable. That's my perspective. Just as we push, when our Moors push the issue. I am only wanting to help us and wake us up. I am making a point to bring it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know what I mean? The thing is, the position I'm in, I can only do so much. And then it becomes, oh, well, Rami is tripping. Rami is, he not about love, because now I'm starting to become a little more forceful about it. And I'm really starting to get a little agitated about it. And sometimes it kind of comes out because I'm frustrated in the games we playing and a central part of our organization we not addressing. And I done bring it up 3 years in a row now. Still silent. I was on a conference call with a bunch of Grand Sheiks from Atlanta. It was either it was a bunch of Grand Sheiks. None of them had the answer. Go listen, go watch the video yourself. Don't believe me. You'll see. And it's like at this point, like, what are we doing? And then when you factor in the people dying, people suffering, people enslaved, in prison, and in Africa and other like real slavery, or not, I want to say real slavery as if prison isn't slavery, but I'm saying not necessarily for a crime type slavery, but just people are being bought and sold as slaves still. This is happening in parts around the world. There's so many other issues we need to get to, and we playing games. You know what I mean? At this point, we do not need to be trying to prove that we're Moors. It is what it is. Move past that. We do not need to keep playing the games of trying to down, other organizations because they are still calling themselves and people black. They know what they're doing. Let's figure out a place that we can unify on. Where can we find some sense of unity and unite on that? And then by our actions, when we are in the presence of other people, that clean glass will do all the talking for us. We won't have to down anyone. We won't have to say, look at that dirty glass. It'll be obvious. Do you know what I'm saying? I've asked this since your call, asking several grand sheiks, and no one would answer. So, and I mean, like, what does that say? You know, think about that. Why is no one answering? Why is no one speaking about this? If this group is tasked with managing all the property of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Man, hold on. Excuse me. You know, I just keep telling you, this man knows not by being told, they say. Let's look up what property means. Since we here doing the studying, get out a law dictionary if you got one, and just flip the property. You know what I mean? If you got it, or if you can Google legal definition of property, go check that out and drop it in the comment section so other people can read. Let's get a little studying real quick. I'm gonna read it from the 4th edition that I got here. Property. It's a whole lot. Here we go. The word is also it's a gigantic golly. I'm sorry, that's kind of hit me. I haven't looked at this in a minute. Property. That which is peculiar or proper to any person, that which belongs exclusively to one, in the strict legal sense, an aggregate of rights which are guaranteed and protected by the government. The term is said to extend to every species of valuable right or an interest, more specifically ownership, the unrestricted and exclusive right to a thing. So that, let me keep reading. The right to dispose of a thing in every legal way, to possess it, to use it, and to exclude everyone else from interfering with it. Goodness gracious. The exclusive right of possessing, enjoying, and disposing of a thing. The highest right a man can have to anything, being used for that right which one has to lands or tenements, goods or chattel, which no way depends on another man's courtesy. The word is also commonly used to denote everything which is the subject of ownership, corporeal or incorporeal, tangible or intangible, visible or invisible, real or personal, everything that has an exchangeable value or which goes to make up wealth or estate. Come on now. This is property we're talking about. And this is what the Supreme Grand Council is duty to manage. And if they're not doing that, then what is that saying about our property? Like, you know, and the thing is, I can keep reading this, I can keep providing information, but until we act, all of us, we all gotta, hey, we need to address this. This should be the number one topic, priority, matter that gets settled at the 2019 Moorish American Convention, National Convention. Where everybody, all Moors are gathered together, so everyone is aware of what's going on. Everyone has their voice being heard as a nation. From my perspective, I believe that's how we are supposed to correct these issues. But it can't just be on what I say. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be, oh, well, because Rami said it, this is what we doing. No, it don't work like that. You don't just make up a new Supreme Grand Council and now that's running things. Because who gave these people the authority? We gave ourselves the authority. So we could do so we could just forget how Noble Drew Ali set it up. We just do what we want. Like you could do that. I'm not fit to play around like that. Not with the prophet. Come on now. Not with the prophet, man. Better go on now. Go on. This ain't no time for games. Oh, I was looking at one more thing. I was looking up in law, what does manage mean? Manage means to control and direct, to administer, to take charge of, to conduct, to carry on the concerns of a business or establishment, generally applied to affairs that are somewhat complicated and that involve skill and judgment. Supreme Grand Council is duty tasked with controlling all the property, the estate, everything of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's kind of a big deal. Just a little bit. You feel me? So, let me see here. I've seriously stopped watching some Moors videos because all they do is down and talk bad about all the other groups of Moors, which doesn't help uplift fallen humanity. People are already on the ground. You don't need to kick them anymore. You don't need to stomp them in the back. You're supposed to be lifting our brothers and sisters up, helping each other. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we are asked to do. How can we talk about anyone? We have to show unity and structure to show what Noble Drew Ali was talking about. Sam Simpson, Crown Prince being the head, and mine, president, vice president, so on. Well, with respect to, Washita Moors, I haven't studied that, first of all, in depth or well enough to speak my opinion on it, on, what Washita Moors do just in general. I will say that, respect to anyone that is coming from that perspective. Noble Drew Ali told me, though, that we're Moorish Americans. So that's kind of what I'm running with. And, it's really as simple as, respect to the elder sister, I forget her name right now, but respect to her and that entire movement and the people that see things from that perspective. But if it's believing them or going with what they say versus going with what Noble Drew Ali said, it's kind of rocking with Noble Drew Ali. It's just kind of, when I've done the studying and analyzing, everything this brother's been saying has been on point. So I don't think I'm going to really be going against, things that he was talking about, especially when it's as simple as we're Moorish Americans because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. That's easy. It's simple. It's right there. You know what I mean? So that, in terms of Washita, I don't really have too much to say on that. Peace, Jesse Green. Islam. Boom. I talked about the Supreme Grand Council. Anybody have any more questions regarding the Supreme Grand Council? When and where is the 2019 convention, Mecca? Supposed to be in Chicago. Yeah, according to where it was initially when Drew Ali set it up. And the original one started on the 15th, I think. It's either the 15th or the 17th. 1 second. It was, boom. Yep. Beginning October 15th and continuing through the entire week, the Moor Science Temple of America, of which Mr. Drew Ali is the founder and president, will hold the first general conference at Unity Hall, 3140 Indiana Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. So it was originally established to go for a week from October 15th through the 22nd. Sometime after he passed, it got changed from October to meeting in September. Yeah. Here, boom. Huh. Got it. Boom. So I was trying to read this. This is a letter from Emily L, Supreme Grand Sheik, and this is sometime in 1929. In reading your letter to Brother Thompson L a few minutes ago, and in view of the wishes of our prophet as laid down in his laws to me by himself, I wish to call our attention to the fact that it was his will that we hold the coming convention of 1929 beginning September the 15th to the 20th of the same month. My objection is only that the date which was made by the prophet be considered as law with me, and remembering also that he said, as long as you do what I tell you, you will be all right. But when you fail to obey my orders, you will have trouble. Having talked the matter over with the governors, I find them all in supporting the date of the convention as laid down by our prophet. Now, as business manager, I'm asking you to give away to the time of the prophet's choice and arrange your dates accordingly, which begins September 15th to September 20th, inclusive. So, corrected. I believe it was originally in October, and then the prophet had it moved a month earlier to September. That's what it looks just off the rip. Anyways, I read all that to say that, according to this, I need to do some study just to make sure I read it correctly. But it seems like we should have a convention in September 15th through the 21st or 22nd in Chicago. You know what I mean? I think that's when we should have it, and that's where we should address the Supreme Grand Council issue, and it should be on the record so we have the minutes so that it can be documented and archived so everyone knows, just like I was able to read there, what was going on. And you can read the records and read the letters and the dialogue and the conversations and have an understanding and put the pieces together to figure out what was going on in history. You know what I mean? Let me, let's see. Sam Suni, can you please show me any documentation from Noble Drew Ali of himself calling himself a Washita Moor? Any record, letter, book, I don't know, any sort of documentation. If you can't, I would say, please don't make claims like that. You know what I mean? Be very careful, and this is a general statement. Be very careful of making claims about things that you can't provide a source for. You know what I mean? And making the claim and framing it as if it's a fact when it is more than likely just your opinion or your belief. Peace, Corey. Tariq, with things being the way they are now, what steps should be taken to reestablish the de jure Supreme Grand Council? You see, this comes to larger issues, and these are amazing questions. But when you ask these questions, I think we have to adjust our minds and our mentalities to stop looking for one person to present the answer. That these questions need to be put on the table. If you think of everybody, even everyone watching, if you think of all of us sitting around a circular table right now, the questions need to be put to the center of the table, and everyone can have their perspective, and we can all put forth our solutions and come together to figure out, that does seem like the most sound solution. It is in line with how, as opposed to, Rami, what do you think we should do? Such and such, what do you think we should do? Such and such. And then you say, well, Rami said we need to do this. Well, I don't even listen to Rami. I listen to such and such. And he said we don't even need. And you see the division, then it's picking sides. Who do you feel is right? Which way should we? Let's avoid that. That's why I keep putting this question of the Supreme Grand Council on the table for everyone to address. People in my email, how do I do this? I think you would find your answers in the Supreme Grand Council, brother or sister. But unfortunately, we don't have an active one right now. So what I would say for you to do is talk to other Moors and say, hey, man, where's the Supreme Grand Council at? Because what will happen is the more people talk about it, the more people will be forced to speak and stand on their position. And you'll be able to see clearly those who do want to uplift humanity, those who do want to represent this movement in the correct way and, fulfill their duties and obligations and tasks as Moorish Americans and taking part, of the affairs of the families and nation, all of that good stuff. You'll be able to see who's really down with the prophet and who been BS, who just been doing this for the fame, the notoriety, for the money, or the fiat, whatever. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I feel will happen. But it's only going to happen when the pressure is applied by everyone and not just coming from Rami. It's easy to try to ignore just one person talking about it. But when it's in all the comment sections, in all the live chats, in the lectures, in the Facebook posts, in the IG posts, then it's like, gotta talk about the Supreme Court. I don't want to do it, but we got to. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. What do you think about the Moorish American consulate that was recently established? No. Unfortunately, it isn't. Why? Well, who gave them the authority? Did we agree on it as a nation? Is there some sort of consensus? Is there documentation anywhere? Was there notifications and notices sent out to every person in the nation and saying we would like for you to make your contributions to this idea of what we're working on for the nation? If it's a Moorish American consulate? No, they didn't do that. And that's part of the issue, because I've had people say, well, Rami, just start a Supreme Grand Council and you run it. It don't work like that. Sorry, it really don't work like that. We have to do it the correct way. And I'm only saying this because I've recently been studying. Look. Oh. Here we go. One second. Oh. The Arab civilization, translated from the German treatise of Joseph Hale. The rise and fall, Islamic history, the rise and fall of Muslims from the pious caliphs to Abbasid Spain and Mughal dynasties. And when you look back in history, you see one of the main downfalls to Moors, quote unquote Muslims, Arabs, Saracens, Berbers, etc. One of the main reasons for the fall is that there was this constant overtaking of the current regime for a new regime. And this new regime felt like they had the best way to run it, so they just overtook with war. And they were ruling for a little while, but then someone overtook them. And they was ruling, and then someone overtook. It's that same cycle. So If I were to say, yeah, we come in here, we just create our own Supreme Grand Council. Yeah, that may work temporarily, but then what will happen? Someone behind me who's younger than me, they'll feel like, nah, we running it our way. And so then they'll come behind me and say, no, we creating our own Supreme Grand Council and we doing it this way. And then who am I to say they can't do that? Because I did the same thing. You follow what I'm saying? No, not at all. I'm not sure. Were you saying that you understand what I'm saying or no? Melanin beauty, that is. Got you. It's not that it's not, and this is the thing, it's not that I don't want us to just get the council active so we can get it done. I do. But I'm understanding more and more that there is a process, there is a law and an order to the way we got to do things. And if we try to rush and just skip a step and just do it however we feel, in the long run, it's gonna come back to bite us in the, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the reason why I'm going about it this way. Oh, okay. Okay, got you. We are to make the Supreme Grand Council the order of the day until it happens. I agree. I honestly feel like that is literally, in terms of the Moor Science Temple of America, that is like a top priority to do. I don't see how we go around that. Because if we talking about property, as in real estate, if we talking about laws, how to travel, how to engage and communicate with other nations, all of that is coming back to that same group of people, that same council that's supposed to clarify and set the standard, set the tone, and then they communicate that to the temples, and then the temples communicate that to the members, and now all the nation is on one accord. Like, that's a beautiful system to me. But we just gotta, it's got some rust on it. You know what I mean? We gotta get it right. With the Mac, who else is doing anything along the same lines? Am I wrong in wanting to help by being a part of the Moorish American Consulate? It's not, you're not wrong for wanting to be a part of wanting to help. The truth is that, let's take basketball for you. I like talking in metaphors or analogies. Let's take basketball for a second. You got the hot hand. Who was that to ask me the question? Tariq, you got the hot hand. You Steph Curry with the shot. You know what I mean? You're on fire. You trying to score as much as you can. I understand your enthusiasm, your passion for wanting to get the ball and just run down and score. I get it. But if you were to just go from the out of bounds, take the ball, and just run down the court and shoot, guess what will happen? Traveling, turnover, going that way. And no matter how fast, traveling that way. Because we not following the law. That's the, at the end of the day, that's what we have to we reprogram our minds, because we have been so used to just doing it however we want to do it, not respecting and adhering to the laws. You know what I mean? We have been, partly by conditioning, but also just because some people just choose to be like that. Ain't acceptable. We can't keep doing it that way. You got to make a change. You know what I mean? Let's see. to this question. To this question, equation one must apply the zodiac constitution. Yeah. Well, is there any other questions that you have for me? Not even necessarily about the Supreme Grand Council, but just general Moorish questions. James Conway. Because within this movement, there is no real structure to run it all together right now. It's a little lawless. The thing is that I feel, I hear what you're saying. I feel it's less that there is no structure and more that we're just not adhering or following the structure that was laid out for us. That's the thing that gets me, is like, we gotta, this dude Drew Ali was a real prophet. You gotta understand that. So it's not the best idea to go against what my man was talking about. He kind of got some jewels, somebody important. You know what I mean? He kind of delivered a message for somebody just a little bit important. So we might just want to heed, what Drew Ali is saying. Some of the warnings. You know what I mean? That's my personal opinion. Some people, they don't agree. Some people think, I could just do what I want. I hear what Drew Ali's saying, but I'm going to do it my way. And I hear you. It don't make sense to me, though. I don't think it will end up well for us doing it the way we want, as opposed to the way it was set up for us to do. You know what I mean? But what do I know? You know what I mean? I'm just a little old Romney, man, just trying to do my studies. Did you have any other questions? Because I wanted to read something real quick and talk about this, because it's kind of on the same topic, but I didn't want to just go off of what I was saying. It behooves me as to why those in position to proclaim and declare their birthright refuse. Yeah. Part of it is cowardice, Melanin Beauty. Part of the reason people don't proclaim their nationality or talk about Moors or us being Moors is because they're cowards or afraid. And on the one hand, we could look at that and say, like, how y'all afraid to be yourself, right? On the other hand, you could look at it and say that, wow, I'm fortunate to be this courageous, that I'm willing to speak this truth. I'm willing to stand up and be myself, when a lot of other people are afraid to. Yeah, I mean, some people, I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know. But kind of going back to what I said earlier about noticing the splinter in their eyes. I mean, I'll speak about myself for a second. As much as I know about this information, as much, stuff that I do with this information, in certain areas or in certain spaces, people just know me as Cliff. And that was the name I was given before I chose my own name. But, people just know me as Cliff. I'm just a normal black guy, African-American fellow. You know what I mean? And I don't make it a point to, hey, I'm a Moorish American. You need to know that. And I'm just making it clear so everybody, I don't necessarily, I'm not out there like that. You know what I mean? It's just not, for me and my life and the way things are structured right now, the way my accounts are set up, it's not as it's not as productive or helpful for me to be on it like that all the time. For other people, they may feel they can't speak on it. They may feel, if they speak on this, eh, they won't be able to provide for all of their family. Whether we agree with it or not, I think it helps us to understand or just accept that that's how they may feel. And as much as you may want them to speak up, as much as you may want them to be courageous and say, the truth, I would just say to not expect them to say it, or to not be so hurt if those people in positions to really make a difference and really speak on this don't feel so hurt when they don't. You know what I mean? And focus more on the impact that you can make. Because I think oftentimes, even like y'all, on this live with me right now, it's at least on my little reader say 14 people in here. You know what I mean? This is 2 a.m. Saturday. It's a particular reason y'all watching right now. A lot of people sleep, a lot of people in the club turning up. I would challenge you, Melanin Beauty, to be more courageous. You know what I mean? And shine your light towards those that may be afraid to speak up. And rather than chastise them, or rather than try to break them down for not saying it, come with a loving approach of, who am I thinking about right there? David Banner. You know what I mean? Come with, no, not even David. Let's go with Brother Ben. You know what I mean? Come with a loving approach to Brother Ben and the Nation of Islam, saying, we love how the Nation of Islam changes the conduct and the character and how our brothers and sisters present themselves. And we need you guys desperately, because you guys have a structure and an infrastructure. We just need y'all to really speak up and let's unify and really educate yourself. Let's have a study session. Maybe I can sit down with you and we can just read for 5 minutes about Drew Ali, and we can find something that we can agree on and present a class together about Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad, or Drew Ali and Farrakhan, or Drew Ali and Brother Ben, or Riz Islam. And I feel like maybe if you came with the love instead of the sword, people may put their defenses down. They may be inspired to be courageous and to say, you know what? Yeah, my nation does need me. And I do. I love this Nation of Islam organization, but the nation as a whole needs me to speak up. And I've been inspired by it. And that sister, she just showed me love, even though I'm doing what I'm doing. I think I will go read some of this stuff from Noble Drali, try to figure out what's going on. In my opinion, I'm saying all that to say, in my opinion, coming to people with love seems to be a more productive or a more effective approach to connecting with people. You know what I mean? And I get some people would say, oh, well, it's tough love. But, I just don't agree with that. I don't think tough love helps. I think tough love gets people to draw up their defenses and turn off their ears and not listen and just, put their back to the wall and fight. That, to me, tough love seems to produce that result more than it does, I'm going to listen and I'm really going to hear this brother, this sister out. I've seen the effects when I come to people with love and I come with compassion and kindness and a willingness and a humility to listen, you know what I mean, and to receive their perspective and not dismiss it. And I feel like when you do that and when you show people that, they are more inclined to do the same for you. That was a long answer. Sorry. You have been coming with the sword. You said you're an Aries and therefore I can't stand when people don't use common sense. Listen, that's a pet peeve of mine too. Um, you just got to be patient. You know what I mean? And be humble enough to say, you know what? Hey, I apologize if I came off harsh. It's a little frustrating for me. Please, work with me. Just, try to help me out. I know the message may not come off the best, but please just have an open ear. Hear me out. You know what I mean? I think if you try to use that energy, it's a little more helpful. And then, this is another thing, is understanding again when people don't want to learn. It's been trolls. It's been trolls in my comment section the past couple of days, and it's like, the usual stuff. Noble Drew Ali isn't a prophet. Blah 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 blah. And it's like when you get people with that kind of energy, it's best to just say God bless. Much love to you and yours, and just go your way and let them go their way. Because there's some people that just refuse to hear, refuse to listen, and they'll be on their path. And you can't. It's nothing that we can do to get them to wake up or to get them on the right path. So, just got to be mindful of both of those. Let's see. That's a whole bunch of comments in here. Let me get back to it, see if I can get some more questions. They need to see activism to activate their eyes. They want to see quit rents and land claims. I could speak to that real quick. For the people that think that this movement, or no, let me say it this way. For the people that believe or watch on the sideline, like, well, if you think there's more stuff work, how come, you still getting shot by the police? Well, can I just not pay taxes? Is that, how do I do that? How do I get out of jail and get all these charges off my record? Please understand that's not what this is. And if you are looking for that, you'll never find it. Ever. Because that's not what this is about. This movement is not about calling ourselves sovereign citizens. It's not about taking over, squatting, or taking over someone's property or homes or houses. It's not about getting out of paying taxes. It's not about not having to follow any laws. I repeat, that is not what this movement is about. And if you on this live stream wondering when's Rami gonna show me how to get out of these taxes, go on. It ain't happening. Ain't gonna happen. Cause that's not, and on a real, on some realness, that is so short-sighted and so small-minded. Do you understand that this movement is going to change the entire world? Stop thinking about a damn traffic ticket. You know what I mean? And understand this is going to change the world. And all of it's got to change. Because now we realize who we are. So we can't be called blacks no more, and European people can't be called white no more. That changes everything educationally wise. We talking finance. so many things on so many levels, and you worried about traffic ticket, trying to claim a home, trying to squat in a home. Man, if you don't go somewhere, you know what I mean? That ain't what this is about, man. Let's see. Peace, Vincent. Peace, peace, peace. Yeah, everything needs proof. Peace, peace, peace. Any more? Peace, T. Baker. People are so privy to this knowledge, they take it for granted. Yeah, I agree. Oh man, that's some beautiful stuff. James Conroy said, I place a little bit of the info on them to plant the seed. T. Baker, the seed has been sown, watching it grow. To build on that, I forgot who told me this. It was so beautiful. They was talking about how sometimes in life, you are the person that plants the seed. Sometimes you're the person that waters the seed. Sometimes you're the person, that trims, the plant and make sure it's getting its proper sunlight, the soil. Sometimes you just play a little small role in that flower, that beautiful plant, that tree's blossoming. You may not be there to see the transformation from the seed to the lotus, to the, whatever plant. You know what I mean? You may not be there for the whole process. You may just be there to check in. All right, yeah, it's planted. Okay, we'll come back in a month. That may be all that you are here for. And to understand, to take the pressure off of you trying to completely change someone's mind and do all of the processes yourself. Do what you can and just let it be. It'll grow. You ain't gotta force it. You ain't gotta just keep pouring the water, because then you may drown the seed. You know what I'm saying? Higher standards. I heard a few years back the whole world is watching us. Patience. Patience is key. Time is sure we must align. True. True. Man, I was looking up something too. Wow, man. Oh, one second. Because I wanted to read this real quick. It is. There we go. Nope, that ain't it. It's talking about when you do harm to somebody. There it goes. Chapter 10. There we go. There we go, man. There we go. Let me see. Did anybody have any other questions? I wanted to read this real quick. Okay, real quick. I'm gonna read this. This piece from the Quran, Circle 7. If you have it at home or you want to follow along, chapter 10. I'm gonna be reading. Chapter 10 is called "Jesus Spake on the Unity of Allah and Man to the Hindus," and I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read from 9 until just 9 and 10. Yeah. Now, men and birds and beasts and creepy things are deities made flesh. How dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world awry. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. Let me read that last one over. It is cruelty that makes the world awry. And that's AWRY. I need to look that up. I don't know what that means. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. So, when you, when I, when we harm another living thing, we harm ourselves. And harm isn't just physical. Harm can be with the words we speak, or even on a deeper level, the thoughts we think. Because thoughts are things. Yeah. And they can harm people. And when we understand when we harm others, whether with our actions, and physically, verbally, spiritually, when we harm other people, we harm ourselves. So why would we want to harm ourselves or other people? Common sense would say don't do that. And I'm speaking on that as it relates to something as simple as attacking the next brother or sister, talking down, demeaning them. When you do that, you are harming yourself. Now, I didn't say that. I didn't put this in the book. This is here to teach us. I'm just reading it. But then when I talk to Moors, when I talk to Moorish Americans about using the scimitar, and some of these dirty Moors, these are nick, and they need to, and it's like, but fam, it says right here, when you learn that when you harm a living thing, you harm yourself, you would stop doing it. That's my opinion. How y'all feel about that? Yeah, chapter 10, page 16 in my book. That's just something I do my best to think about when I'm making videos, when I'm trying to teach or share information, to not say anything that I'm intentionally trying to harm somebody or to demean them. I'm not perfect by a long shot, but I do my best to not use words that are harmful. You know what I mean? I see some Moors, they'll call quote unquote black people niggers. You know what I mean? With the ER, because they are calling themselves black and refuse, don't want to call themselves Moors. But Drew Ali said we shouldn't call each other that. We should call, you say dirty Moor. You shouldn't call. But even if Drew Ali didn't say it, calling the next brother, sister, nigga is not, that's not, and I'm not talking about NIGGA. And then there's a debate, we can have a discussion on the difference between that and NIGGER. Let's not say words that Bible thumpers, or say something that would be disrespectful to people that believe in Jesus. Oh, and why do I say that? Come on, man. Talk about it. This is my RV Bay collection. Boom, boom, boom. So when you talk about studying, man, you know what I mean? I ain't I'm not BSing. You know what I mean? You really have to put the time in if you want to know this information. And right now I'm looking for the oral prophecies and statements. Boom. Oral prophecies and statements by Drew Ali. Oh man, don't tell me I just forgot it. I just forgot what I was feeling. Oh, there. No, I got it. It was the quote that, Let me read it. Let me get it right. Boom. Here we go. Oral statements and prophecies. Number 106, Sister A. Brown L. of Temple number 4 and number 25 said that the Holy Prophet said in the 1920s, some of my best Moors are still in the church. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, family. Noble Drew Ali said some of his best Moors were still in the church. So for me, hearing that, my thought isn't let me attack the church and let me try to disrespect Jesus and what they believe. Why? Because some of the best Moors are still in there. And if you harming them, you're harming yourself. Because that's like you got LeBron James, Steph Curry, you know what I mean, Kevin Durant, you got the all-star squad in the car, you know what I mean, and you cut the brake line to their car. You hurting yourself doing that, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. We need them. We need them to get to the game. We need them on the team. Now they may have been playing, you know, on the schoolyard court. You know what I mean? They may have been playing with a odd set of rules, but we just need to get them to the stadium. You know what I mean? We need to get them to the arena. Get them on a hardwood floor. Get them a nice Moorish American jersey. You know what I mean? So they know they playing for the right team. Show them, no, we going this way. We not don't shoot the basket this way. Shoot it that way. You know what I mean? But we can't shit on them. We can't say, man, you stupid idiot. Why you keep shooting the basket? That ain't gonna get them to be one to open their ears and listen to what we gotta say. Always disrespecting and demeaning people who grew up in the church or who, you know, call themselves Christians. Don't do that. Work with them. Say, hey, man, I was reading this book that I had about Jesus, and I want to know if you could tell me some more about this because I never heard about this before. Is this something in the Bible? Oh, yeah. Now you got a bond. You say, oh, man, you know, I've been doing some history, some research on our ancestors, and I found out, you know, I was reading something that said Ruth was a Moabite. Do you know about Ruth or where I could find that in the Bible? Oh, come on in, brother. And now you build it. And now you can share a jewel or two with them. And now their ear may be a little more open to hear what you're saying. So I just wanted to read that. Because a lot of times people be, you know, they become aware there's more stuff and then they'll get to disrespecting Jesus and, you know, how Jesus wasn't real. Jesus didn't exist, blah, 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 blah. Jesus is in the Quran, man. How about you stop trying to just disrespect Jesus and just understand the wisdom? I mean, did Drew Ali say Jesus isn't real? If he did, please show me where that's at. Just show me. Otherwise, how about we leave that argument aside and focus on what we can take from the lessons to uplift ourselves? That seems more productive. Something we could do with our time. Let's see. Words, thoughts, and actions can be a double-edged sword. More power. Peace to Shar. Peace. Man, y'all, I'm gonna be real, man. I didn't expect y'all to be up here with me right now. I was like, man, ain't nobody finna log on Friday, Saturday night, morning. Who gonna be up studying right now? Leave it to Moors. Moors be up, man. Moors be up. All times of the hour. We just be up studying. What? Yeah, I'm up. What's happening? I feel like I read these. I try to read. I'm working on making sure that I read things that I haven't touched on before. I'll say this for another day, man, because I want to read this piece. It's called Masterpiece of Religious Literature, Secrets of Other Creeds Revealed. And I want to read this and touch on the idea that Noble Drew Ali plagiarized Levi Dowling. But one, I don't feel like getting into it right now, and I want to prepare this a little bit better because it's powerful, and I just think that that's just a corny ass excuse to try to scare people away from Noble Drew Ali and this information. It's like, never mind, I ain't even gonna get into it. Did anyone else imitate I, the prophet, a thought of Allah manifested in flesh, return to the state of mind of our ancient torchbearers? I don't know about the ancient torchbearers, but ancient forefathers, I do know that. Getting into this when rocks cry out. Thank you, Shar Mikael Bay. On that note, Miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson, good book. But on that note, let me get into that book, man. Since you said it, let's get into it for a second. Let me, if I can find it. Let's put something on the record, shall we? Since y'all here, if you haven't read this book, you should, and I'm gonna show you why. I'm just a little sample, Then I want you to, get into the book for yourself, so you could see for yourself what's going on in here. You know what I mean? So you won't just be believing me. No, don't believe me. Chapter 7. Oh, goodness. One of the books the Ethiopian scholar sent contained an account of 2 transatlantic expeditions launched from Mali, a country in West Africa. Let's go to the map. Mali is right here. Okay? Mali is right here. This is where North Africa is way up top. Mali is over here. Okay? And I found out Senegal, West Africa, is like 99% Muslim country or something like that. But I thought was really wild because Senegal is like west, all the way West Africa. So Islam stretched all the way across. Anyways, one of the books the Ethiopian scholars sent contained an account of expeditions launched from Mali, a country in West Africa, written by Dr. Ivan van Sertima, a professor at Rutgers who had come from South America. The book included an account of African ships sent across the Atlantic Sea by a Mali king called Abu Bakari. Abubakari. Just Google that up. Just punch that in. Abu Bakari. Abubakari. Now, on this expedition, the ships were launched towards the Americas nearly 200 years before Columbus went across that same sea. Here we go. The 2 Atlantic Sea crossings by the Mali explorers became more important when I noticed that the Moorish, Black, Aztecs had arrived at Mexico in ships Did you hear what I heard? You understand what this? Let me read it again. No, I ain't gonna read it again. I want you to do the research. Look it up. Read the book. Get it. When the Rocks Cry Out, Horace Butler. And then you see for yourself. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to look. I'll show you the page, so you just don't think I'm just, just reading whatever and just making it up. Boom. Can you see that? Let's see if we can get that focus right. Boom. You see that there? Yeah, buddy. Come on now. Come on now. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Let's see. Always up reading, listening to Moorish brothers. I just got that joint again. Yeah. Went by a different name once they touched this land. DJ Khaled Nas Albert. Shout out to Africa Mexico. Yeah, the book is deep. Indeed. Shout out to Distant Relatives. Go listen to that Nas and Damian Marley album. Perhaps, it's one of my favorite albums ever. Might be possibly one of the greatest hip-hop albums that I've heard. But that's another time, another story, another day. Let's see what else we got in the bookshelf. Right now, I'm just grabbing stuff. Golden Trade of the Moors. Edward William Boville. Moorish Spain. Richard Fletcher. Let's see what's in this one. I really just be trying to flip to see what stuff I had marked or underlined. We got some things. I'm gonna say that one. I wanted to read that one, say that one. Let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. If we wish to fully understand the conquest in its context, we must give some attention to Spain's preceding historical experience. The Moorish conquest, as we have already stressed, was remarkably quick. A decisive battle, followed by a few mopping up operations. The invaders did in 4 years what it had taken the legions of Rome 2 centuries to encompass. Understand that. What took our ancestors 4 years to do took Rome 200 years. Goodness gracious, boy. Boy, I tell you, man. I tell you. Let's see. Find one more thing in here. There we go. Right there. There we go. Oh. I was going to talk about the Dane Calloway thing. That's what I was trying to remember. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? That's what it was. Yeah. The only reason I came up with that is because on the top here, it says, Berbers are indigenous. I was like, oh, let me read this. Here we go. Who were these conquerors who had so quickly and so completely overturned the strongest Western European monarchy of their day? It is customary to refer to these stirring events as the Arab or Islamic invasion and conquest of Spain. Arab civilization. It is customary to refer to these stirring events as the Arab invasion or conquest of Spain, but only in a very limited sense was it either Arab or Islamic. It was mainly Berber. The Berbers were, as they still are, the indigenous inhabitants of Northwest Africa. Gotta hit him with it. Hit him one more. Come on, man. When you study, man, you just start You see the truth, man, everywhere. Then look up Berber. Look up the history of Berber. And look up their indigenous language that was known as, they call themselves Amazigh, Amazigh. I believe that's how you spell it. Amazigh, Amazigh. Look that up, man. Look up Berbers. Just see what it say. Don't believe me. Get the book yourself. Moor, Spain. I'm just reading information. I didn't put it in here. What was this put together? 92? Looks like it was published in 92. Yeah, first published in 92. I was born in 85, man. I was only 7. Hey, man, don't blame me. Don't blame me. I'm just passing along the info. You feel me? Let me see what else we got y'all saying in here. Oh, goodness gracious. And here we go, man. We got somebody in here. One thing for sure, we are all not Moors. No, that's incorrect, man. This is just go on, man. Go on, man. Ashar, Mikhail Bay, Assassin's Creed. Origins, holographic globe of the world in the time of Cleopatra. See the depiction in the origin story. Assassin's Creed, I heard one of the more recent versions of the game dealt a lot with Moors and Moorish people. I gotta check it out myself, but I did hear about that. God provokers. We all are Moor. Walk by faith, not by sight. Currency, frequency, those who have eyes, who have ears to see. Freedom cry. They wanted to know from the Moors the shape of the earth. Interesting. All right, this Andre Wooding. We all aren't Moors. Blah blah blah. See, let me humble myself, because when I see people that come with comments and perspectives like that, it's kind of annoying and it's kind of frustrating, because it's based on ignorance. So what I would say is, what is your nationality, Mr. Wooding? What is that name, Wooding? Where does that come from? Is that African? Is that Malian? Is that Senegalese? Ghanaian? Is that a Nigerian last name? Who are you, Andre Wooding? What's your nationality? Let's talk about that for a second. Let me just put a pause on the teaching. Let's address Mr. Andre Wooding. What's your nationality? You've been wanting attention, man. You got it now. What's up? Let's start there. Come on with it, man. Y'all in the comment sections talking. You got it? Got quiet, huh? So, since you seem to have no answer, I'd like to say to you, rather than trying to tell other people who they are and who they are not, how about you focus on learning yourself? And once you figure out who you are, then come back to the conversation. Peace and love. Now, back to what I was saying. Because I've seen thought provokers say something. Oh. Before I get to that, because I'll come back to it. Oh, right on the same page. You had said faith, I think it was. Was it faith? What was it? Thought provokers. I seen you say something, thought provokers. There it is. We all are Moor, walk by faith, not by sight. Here we go. It says in chapter 7, the friendship of Jesus and Lamas, Jesus explains to Lamas the meaning of truth. And here it goes. Lamas asked, pray, what is faith? And Jesus said, the certainty that man will reach deific life. Salvation is a ladder reaching from the heart of men to the heart of Allah. And it has 3 steps. Belief is first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is truth. And faith is next, and this is what man knows is truth. Fruition is last, and this is man himself, the truth. Belief is lost in faith, and in fruition faith is lost. And man is saved when he has reached deific life, when he and Allah are one. So, yep, we do got to walk by faith. Once we had a belief what we think is true, then we start walking when we know it's true. You got to walk. You know what I mean? And from that belief to that faith and that little transition, it's a little scary because you don't know if that next step is there, and you just got to walk on that faith that you know. Even that you don't maybe not know yet, you just got to know inside first, and then boom, it happened. And then before you know it, you actually are it, and you have manifested it. And that's the salvation when you really are a Moor. Whether you got, you know what I mean? Whether you got this on or not. I'm a Moor, whether I have a fez, a turban, any of that. Whether you call me by the name that was given to me, by my parents, or by the Moorish name that I chose for myself. That doesn't change the fact that I'm a Moor. And that's how I operate, even without me saying it. You know what I mean? To the point, I was supposed to get back to this book. Excuse me. To the point where, there it was. I was in Occupy Oakland. This is a long time ago. And I was having this conversation with this European dude, and we was talking about solutions. And it was me, another one of my brothers, and this European dude. And we was talking about solutions and the war and all the corruption, blah, 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 right? And, he said something about anarchy. He was like with a anarchist movement or something like that. And we need to abandon the system. I can't remember exactly, but my partner, he was like, man, we need to be willing to go to war, blah, 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 blah. And my answer was something to the effect of, I just think that we need to love each other more. I feel like we've been at wars, been World War I, World War II, and a bunch of other wars in between, and we really ain't got nowhere. I feel like we really need to love each other more. Now, mind you, this was before I learned about Nationality and Moors and any of this. And he looked at me. He was like, "Are you Muslim?" I was like, "What? Where did that come from?" You know what I mean? It wasn't like I said, "Assalamu alaikum." It wasn't like I said, Prophet Muhammad teaches. It was none of that. But it was just because I was being it. And when you are being it, you ain't got to try. It is. Does that make sense? We were speaking about not harming others, and how your words can harm others, your physical actions can harm others, and also your thoughts can harm others. And to build on that, it is on chapter 9, excuse me. It's talking about, in chapter 9, basically, Jesus shows up to this party. He teaching the Corsians, the streetwalkers, hoes, or people that are selling themselves. I don't want to label people like that. But people that are doing that kind of work, people that are thieves, the Corsians, and I think it was like one other kind of, thieves and Corsians. Yeah. Boom. So he's chilling with the thieves and the Corsians, and then he's basically breaking down that They're sinners, but they confess their guilt. They don't try to hide it. You know what I mean? They don't try to act like they all high and mighty and they're just super righteous and you know what I mean? They just do no wrong. It's very clear, hey man, I'm a thief, man. I got a problem. You know what I mean? But then it goes on to say, suppose you men who scorn the courtesians, or the women who are whores, these drunkards and these drunkards and these thieves. So the ones that are scorning the people that are, you know, selling themselves, or they always drunk, or they always stealing. Those of you that know that you are pure in heart and life, that you are better, far better than they, stand forth. And stand forth that man will know just step up front. Right? But then it goes on to say, the sin lies in the wish and the desire, not in the act. The sin lies in the wish and the desire, the thought, not in the action. You covet other people's wealth. You look at charming forms, and deep within your heart, you lust for them. Deceit you practice every day and wish for gold and for honor and for fame. And I was reading that just to further cement the fact that our thoughts can cause harm to others and thus harm to ourselves. When you scheming and like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get their money, man. All of that, you're not supposed to covet other people's wealth. You're not supposed to look at the next man's wife and be lusting and oh, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, man. That ain't cool. It's harmful. It's harmful to you and it's harmful to you. Why put that energy on them? You know what I'm saying? So I was reading that just to reinforce the idea that our thoughts can do harm to others and hence do harm to ourselves. Man, I feel like y'all said a whole lot. Golly, we've been on here for an hour and a half, man. I rock with y'all, man. Y'all really rocking. It's cool, man. I like this. What do you have to say about truth? Truth is in there. Truth is art. Truth doesn't change or pass away. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Must be what we know. Yes, we do. Tupac Shakur? No. No, Tupac Shakur didn't. No, he didn't ruin nothing. No. That's craziness. With all due respect, that's craziness, man. We as a people need to start making some changes. Change the way we think. Change the way we eat. Change the way we treat each other. You see, the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we got to do and survive. Until I see no changes. Come on, man. Pac was a prophet, man. He was a real deal messenger. Moors, but man, let me go ahead and block you, bro. Moors begin in 711 AD. Really, fam? I can't even block you right now. That's just so ridiculous. Oh, man. So let me ask you this. If Moors, when people say that, so do you think in 710 Moors didn't exist anywhere, and then 711 they just appeared and they just suddenly just got in? It's just millions of Moors all of a sudden. And then in 1492 they just poof, just disappeared, and in 1493 there's no more Moors anywhere. Is that what you think? Really? Golly, man. Craziness, man. Craziness. I'm indigenous right here in America. Indigenous isn't a nationality. and neither is saying you're American. America is a continent. It's two land masses, possibly three if you want to count Central, but it's all connected. So from the bottom of Argentina all the way to the top, Alaska, all of that is America, and all of that is not a nation. So you can't say that your nationality is American, nor can you say your nationality is indigenous. And I think I will speak on the Dane Calloway situation. I think I will. Because this good old fella, Andre Wooding. Oh man. One moment. Let me see if it's in here. Oh, now, just to summarize real quick, I had seen, I want to say someone sent me, or I had stumbled onto a post of Dane Calloway, basically trying to dismiss the idea or the concept of nationality and saying that it didn't deal with identity. I'm paraphrasing, but if you look it up, it's on his IG. And, you know, I don't really follow him, but from what I heard from people, you know, he tries to stand on the idea of Aboriginal Americans or Indigenous Americans as an identity. The issue with that is people from Argentina are Indigenous Mexico. The people up in quote unquote Canada or Canaan land, Indigenous there too. We read an original, this is Aboriginal, and this is coming from the actual physical 1828 Noah Webster's Dictionary. Aboriginal. First original primitive Aboriginal people are the first inhabitants of a country. An original or primitive inhabitant. The first settlers in a country are called Aboriginals. So it's not, you can't say I'm an Aboriginal. Like that in itself isn't, that's generic. That's not a nationality. And saying I'm an Aboriginal American isn't a nationality because America is a continent. You see? So you're just saying that you are a native inhabitant of the continent. But that doesn't clarify your nationality. And on a very basic level, this is what I want everyone is watching to ask themselves. Why is it that people, our brothers from China can have a nationality, our sisters in Yemen can have a nationality, our family in Iran or Afghanistan or Pakistan or Somalia, everyone seems to be able to have a nationality. But when it comes to so-called black people, why is there people that are trying to tell you, oh, nationality ain't important? So nationality is important to everybody else on this globe except for us. Come on, man. You don't go on with that. What was the other word I was trying to look up? Indigenous. Indigenous. I don't know if it's going to be in this one, though. I feel like I looked it up before. Inclusive, incompetent, indicated, indiscreet, indignation, indigenous. Native, born in a country. Native, produced naturally in a country or climate. That's indigenous. So saying you're an indigenous American or saying you're an Aboriginal American isn't clarifying who you are. And most times when people have an issue with clarifying their nationality, it's usually an indicator that they're either ignorant about their nationality and probably should refrain from trying to tell other people who they are and who they are not, or their nationality isn't important when you don't even know your own, um, or they do know and they are intentionally trying to mislead people. In either case, it's not really helpful. It's not really effective. And, with to take it off of just Dane Calloway as a person, because it's bigger than just him. There's many people that do this. There's many individuals out there that have a similar, that act similarly, is that they will take some of the information that's accurate and they'll mix it in with their belief or their opinion or their feelings, but they'll present it to you as if it is a fact. And because they presented other facts, you tend to believe what they say, which is why I always do my best to remind you, don't believe me. Go look it up. Look up the definition of Aboriginal. Look up the definition of Indigenous. Look up the definition of a nation or in a continent. Look up the definition of nationality. Then think about, well, why is it we can't have a national? What is it? What is this soul thing that's so hard for us? Why are you always tripping on me when I want to get a nationality, huh? And why is it our own people? I've never had a European person tell me, no, your nationality can't be Moorish American. Not once. No cracker, no white man, none of that. Just us. What does that say? I know a wise man once said that it would be some of your own in turbans and fezzes trying to put you back into slavery if you're not careful. Maybe you don't got the fez on or the turban on. You know what I mean? Let's see. That dude is still talking, man. Oh, there we go. Put user in a timeout. We'll put Andre Wooden in a timeout. Go stand in the corner. Don't get mad, make it a teachable moment. Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult thing to do. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie to you, it's difficult to not get frustrated because of the nonsense. You know what I mean? But you gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. A plastic card is more important than blood. I don't know. Danish, French, Norwegian, British, German. We come from ancient Blackamoor, any person of African descent. James Conroy. I don't know if we come from the Tears of Ra. I don't know about all that. I feel you though. I hear your perspective. No paperwork needed. Lively lit. No paperwork needed for what exactly? What are we talking about? Oh yeah, nah. Yeah, time out. He had to go. I'm sorry, he had to go. It's too much going on, man. Quick question. What's the question? I got a quick answer. Melchizedek? What's the question? What's happening? While you getting a question, anybody else got a question? I'm gonna try to answer some questions. Sheesh, it is 2 o'clock, yo. I mean 3 o'clock. So it's probably like 5 o'clock for some of y'all, man. Y'all tripping. Why y'all up this late, man? You need to go to bed. I appreciate you rocking, man. Real talk. 6 a.m. Now, see, this is a whole nother. I'm gonna get to that question in a second. This has nothing to do with Moors per se. This is Where Did the Towers Go? Evidence of Directed Free Energy Technology on 9/11 by Judy Wood, BSMS PhD. Just so you know, this is a thick book. Now, you may say, Rami, are you finna get into some conspiracy stuff, Rami? You finna try to tell us about the towers? That's what you finna do? Not really. Not really. I mean, it is important, but I wanted to read something because the person that put this book together, one, she's just an amazing person, but more than that, I want us to think about the strategy. And I just want you to listen to this first little chapter. First paragraph. For the record, I do not believe that our government is responsible for executing the events of 9/11/2001. Getting the events of 9/11/2001. This is not a case of belief. Ooh. This is a crime that should be solved by a forensic study of the evidence. Before it can be determined who did it, it must first be determined what was done and how it was done. The order of crime solving is to determine what happened, then how it happened, then who did it, and only then can we address why they did it. Let us remember what is required to convict someone of a crime. You cannot convict someone of a crime based on belief. You cannot convict someone of a crime if you don't even know what crime to charge them with. If you accuse someone of murder using a gun, you better be sure the body has a bullet hole in it. And yet before noon of 9/11/2001, we were told who had done it and how it had been done. This before any investigation had even been conducted to determine what had been done. Let me go over those four again. What happened, then how it happened, then who did it, then why. Now this book, amazing information about 9/11, all of that. The concept, breaking it down that way and relate that to our issue as quote unquote Black people. What happened, how it happened, then who, then why. We, Black people, usually say, oh, the white man hate us because our skin. Whoa, wait a minute. Now, you didn't jump to 3 and 4. We didn't even get to discuss what happened and how. What happened to us? What happened? We were enslaved. How? Our name, our culture, our religion, our history was stripped from us. And then another name was placed on us. That is the how. But see, if we just skip to who did it and why, you don't really understand the how. You don't really understand what happened. You don't understand that, it's fraud going on. Identity theft. You know what I mean? This is what's going on, man. You got to understand what's going on. And if you don't understand what happened and how it happened, which is why you got to learn history, got to study law to understand the mechanisms and how these things operate, the Constitution, Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. We're talking about Indigenous. Just want to put that on there. Let me get to the Chesil deck. Sorry about that. I was in my bag for a second. If I'm starting out and I have my nationality card and everything, after I get it all notarized, what's next? Let me see if he said any more comments. So far, I'm just studying as much as possible. Okay. So You're asking, you're just starting out, you have your nationality card and everything. What next? I think the first thing that you have to do is correct your mentality on what this is. You don't become a Moorish American because you have a nationality card and you get some paper notarized. It's not how it works. You are Moorish American because you're a descendant of Moroccans and born in America. So understand, you are who you are without an ID, without notarized paperwork. That's who you are, if you know it. See, I know who I am, but I can't give you my knowing and get you to know in the same way. You got to know it. So I would suggest first, you getting it so concrete in your mind, in your soul, this is who I am. To where if someone asks you, you can break it down without having to pull out an ID, without having, well, hold on one second. You see, because it says here that, so hold on one second, because I'm a Moor, I know I'm a Moor, but I got to show you why. Hold on. So you don't need to do it. If you're doing that, you haven't studied to understand it enough for yourself. So put the ID, put the paperwork, all that aside, and get into you and make sure that you understand it. From there, then the paperwork, the documents, the identification that supports what you already know. So you can say, I can say, yes, I'm a Moorish American. Well, can you prove that? Well, sure I can. I mean, I have a book here. I have my identification. I have this document. But that's just supporting what I know. After that, and I don't even want to make it seem like that's something simple. That takes time. That takes dedication. That takes a lot of focus and really understanding, well, what does it mean to be a descendant of Moroccan? Study the history of Morocco. How did we get over from here to there? Then you find out, well, wait a minute, Maghreb al-Aqsa, the farthest west. And this is the west. So it's a lot going on that you need to really study and really understand. Descendants of Moroccans and born in America. Start with that. Where did I even get that answer from? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes we try to get to step 7, 8, 9, 12. Slow it down. Slow it down. Come on back. But after you get that, I would say, because I get the question is like, all right, what now? I didn't proclaim, so what do I do now? And the truth is, you keep looking around for someone to tell you when you are the one that's supposed to be leading. You are the one supposed to be looking around in our community, in our country, our nation. We need to clean up these streets. We need to make this park safer. We need to develop some reading materials. We need to get a financial program, literacy program together for more. We'll get to it, brother, sister. Stop waiting for people to tell you, okay, yeah, you can do that. It's your nation too. It's our nation. If you see some trash that needs to be picked up, pick it up. If you see that a book needs to be written, then write it. If a video needs to be made, we'll make it. You know what I mean? I hope it doesn't come off like I'm dismissing what you're saying or I'm making it light of it, but the answer is actually much more simple sometimes than we realize. At least that's my opinion. Oh, man. You were supposed to be back on timeout, man. Got back in here on that nonsense, man. We're going to block you soon. Ashar Mikael Bey, what does putting your name in the newspaper do? I would ask you, Ashar, to look up the term proclaim in law and then just post what you find in the comment section so that other people can read it. I think you may find the answer right there. Even people from India are correctly called Hindis. While we're speaking on India, look up the term Tamil, Tamil. Look up the term Tamil, Tamil Panthers, and also look up the term Dravidian. I believe those were the Southern Indians. But Tamils and Dravidians, I believe that's the Southern Indian. Those were both those groups of Indians are super dark. They are definitely quote unquote African or more. You know what I mean? There's a connection. There's a link there. To the point, I got an Indian partner, and we were at a Ethiopian restaurant out here in Oakland called Ansara, and I was eating the not samosas. Is it samosas? Yeah, samosas, I think is how you say it. And he was like, "Man, I wonder if Indians got picked up or adapted this culture from Ethiopia because we have samosas also or mimosas. I forget how you say the word, but these like little fried things with beans and veggies on the inside." And he was saying that they're very similar to the ones that the sisters and brothers in the Ethiopian restaurant had made for us. So there's some connections, man. And that's what we got to understand, that ultimately we one big family. You know what I mean? We got one race of people. We got different families or nations within this race, but it's only one race. We ain't a bunch of different kinds of races. Yeah, you got to study, man. You got to study. Study. See, there goes that Andre Wooden on that bush. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can get this person up out of here, because I don't like people that's doing that. You know what I mean? These people, it's people like him that hide user on this channel, remove. We'll go with hide. Hopefully that does the trick. Dravidians, yep. Okay, yep. Dravidians and the Maorians too, yep. True indeed. Yes. Right. Sam Suni. I used to have a janitor in high school that was dark as ever, but he used to always say, "I'm not black, I'm white." Didn't call us black. Then seen the Gnostic symbol on his car, so I knew he knew something. Well, you gotta, man, you gotta know law. You have to know what words mean legally or in law. And oftentimes we use these terms and we use these labels and identities, and we aren't quite sure what they truly mean. Let's see. But yeah, Melchizedek, I hope you do study. You know what I mean? And the truth is, the more that you study, the more it just comes to you. And the more, like right now, I didn't, not like I had much prepared for this. I had a couple books and things that I wanted to talk on, but most of this is just from me studying. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember this. Did I study it? And oh yeah, and that. And when once you start studying, you'll start seeing the same kind of connections and links all over the place. And you're like, oh man, it really is connected. You know what I mean? It really is some ties. Speaking of which, Emerald Tablets of Thoth, I think, I don't think I read something from here. Oh, flip right to the page. Now, I'm going to read the first half. I don't think I really speak on it too much, but my BR Moors, Moorish Americans, truly are the ancient descendants of Atlanteans. And I feel like that's how we ultimately ended up in both Africa and the Americas. That we were chilling in Atlantis, in between both of them, in that area right there. Something happened. The island sunk, the land, something happened with the land, that caused the great split in the Atlantic Ocean. And some of our people went to the east, to the Africa and Asia, and some of our people went west to the Americas. And then that's how we had similar cultures on both sides of the planet, because we first came from one center culture that split and we got separated. That's my belief. I don't have concrete evidence to say that's exactly what happened. But for me, kind of, it's something about that connects with me. And then when I started reading Thoth, and the reason that Thoth, he was the Atlantean super wise, like the prophet for the Atlanteans, basically. And so let me read this. This is Emerald Tablet number 3, the key of wisdom. I, Thoth the Atlantean, give of my wisdom, give of my knowledge, give of my power. Freely I give to the children of men. Give that they too might have wisdom to shine through the world from the veil of the night. Wisdom is power, and power is wisdom, one with each other, perfecting the whole. Be thou not proud, O man, in thy wisdom. Discourse with the ignorant as well as the wise. If one comes to thee full of knowledge, listen and heed, for wisdom is all. Keep thou not silent when evil is spoken, for truth, like the sunlight, shines above all. Now here's the part where I wanted to read in just all of this. He who oversteppeth the law shall be punished, for only through law comes the freedom of man. Goodness gracious. If you overstep the law, you will be punished. For only through the law comes freedom. That's deep. So your freedom comes with restrictions. That is, oh my goodness. But when you understand that, when you have if you have freedom, if you have freedom, you then have to be held accountable for your actions. Because if you wasn't free, you didn't have the choice to do it, you can't be held because you had no choice. But once you had that freedom, now you got the choice. Now you got to hold yourself accountable, and that's where the laws come in and bringing it on. And if you're wondering, well, Rami, what in the hell does Atlanteans have to do with Drew Ali and Moors? I ain't never seen no. This is why we got to study. You feel me? Going back to chapter 10. All men, all people worship Allah the one, but all the people see him not alike. We're going to skip on down. Man names the part of Allah he sees, and this to him is all of Allah. You Brahmins call him Padabram. In Egypt, he is Thoth. So this book not only connects us to Egypt, but then it connects us to Thoth, which connects us to both Egypt and Atlantis and the Atlanteans. This man, Noble Drew Ali, more good. Good and terrible. All right, man. We done been up for y'all. Peace. Yeah, I'm finna sign out too, man. I'm tired. I didn't been up way too long. I literally was supposed to come on here for like 30 minutes. Got to talking and playing around with y'all, man. Let me see. One last question. Any questions before I tap up out of here? Because it's 3 on my side, and I actually, between y'all, I'll tell y'all this. Between y'all, I got a show tonight that I'm doing, but also, that's what I was supposed to tell y'all. I'm working on a book, and I'll just tell you now because I'm hopefully going to have it done on the 8th. And it's a biography of Noble Drew Ali. And I was really pushing myself to get it done by the end of today, because that was the cutoff time to get it put on Amazon for an ebook. And I didn't finish in time. And I said, that's okay, because I'm going to finish writing and editing and have it completed by the 8th. And what I told myself is, for the first, I don't know, maybe 100 copies, I'm going to print them out myself and sign them, make it kind of special for the people that want to support. But I'm really happy about the book, because I realized, speaking on Melchizedek, what's next? What do you do? I teach a lot about Noble Drew Ali, and how important he is, and this, that, and the third. But then I looked around and I realized we don't got no biographies of this brother. And that's, I won't say no, we don't have any. I believe there's one or two. I believe Azim Hopkins Bey has one. I got this one, but this book is it's way too much going on. You know what I mean? And so what I realized is that we need a very simple book about Noble Drew Ali's life. And so that's what I put together. I really wrote it for someone with a 3rd grade reading level, 4th grade reading level, so that it's not too hard to understand. Real short, about 50 pages, but summarizes Drew Ali's life, and that can be something that we can offer and give people if they want to know about Drew Ali. Yeah. But any other questions before I get up out of here? Peace, peace, peace. You need to learn more about the prophet. I think you do. It's a very important person. The analogy I use is like, to not know about Noble Drew Ali is to say you know about rap music and you don't know about Tupac. But that's not even, maybe that's not even, to know, it's like saying you know about the greatest entertainers, but you never mention Michael Jackson, or you don't even know about who Michael Jackson is. That's the level of importance of Drew Ali. And so it's crazy when, so-called black people or people that are conscious, they talking about black leaders this and revolutionary that, and everybody just don't mention Noble Drew Ali. And he is one of the most amazing revolutionaries of all time, especially for so-called black people. You know what I mean? So I humbly suggest you read as much as you can about Noble Drew Ali, all his teachings, anything that he said, brought, taught, suggested. Read all that. For the book, $7. Come on now. We got to have that sale on that. But when I do have, this is the thing though, when I do get it on the ebook, I am gonna get it on the ebook. I'm gonna do my best to, I don't know if you can put it at $1, but I'm gonna put it very low. You know what I mean? Hopefully like $2.50, something like that. Very affordable. Yeah. Let's see. Do you think there's audio remaining from that era? That era as in Noble Drew Ali's era? But if you're asking me do you think there's any audio from Noble Drew Ali's era? I asked Grand Sheik's that, and I believe that was on the phone with Bailey Eel, and that brother, it was either Bailey Eel or Braswell Bailey, one of the two. But they was like, oh yeah, no, we don't have no audio recordings, which I thought was kind of weird. But I don't know. Maybe in due time some things will come out. But I think there should be. I feel like, did nobody during that time say, hey man, somebody should record this? Because I'm almost positive they had recorders and some sort of camera. You know what I mean? So I feel like it could have did something, put something together, recording music or something, but Who knows, man? Who knows? Why do you think the prophet called himself Drew Ali instead of Timothy Ali? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Why did he use Noble Drew Ali instead of Sharif Abdul Ali? Maybe the same reason Malcolm used Malcolm X and not El Haj Malik El Shabazz. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily the most important thing on my list of things to figure out, but I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I think definitely gonna close out with some on the spiritual tip. Did anybody else have any questions before I get up out of here? I wanted to read some from the Quran Circle 7. Close it out about that. You know what I mean? Because we get that a lot. We'll get people trolls or could be agents, just jerks that'll come and say Moor just means black. You Moors don't know what you're talking about. You Moors are just a code. Noble Drew Ali was a plagiarist. Nationality doesn't matter. What else is a common ones that they say? Associating are saying whether you're Moor, Hebrew Israelite, or Nation of Islam, as if those are the same and they're not. All of those kind of people, you got to do your best to remain patient, not feed into that BS. Yeah, not let it bother you. Keep, if you can, ignore it, because those people, I realized time and time again, their only objective is to get you to engage with them. That's it. And waste time and energy and lose your focus. That's it. So, that's why, it's more effective to just block people like that. Especially when you realize they're not interested in learning. Because when they are, they'll come back and they'll learn and humble themselves and all that. So don't waste your time with foolish people. Yeah, I'm not sure. Question: why would Tariq Nasheed make a documentary talking about the Moors, but not want us to claim nationality? I don't know, man. It stumps me why people like Brother Polite, Tariq Nasheed, David Banner, all of them, just fill in the blank with whoever, why they don't want to claim nationality. Why Tariq Nasheed would create a whole documentary series using the Moorish, the head silhouette from the Moorish flag for his documentary, but then still continue calling us black. Still don't even put barely put Noble Drew Ali in the first, I think, 3 documentaries. But you got the Moor on the front cover though. I have my ideas on maybe why, but ultimately doesn't really matter. He gonna do what he gonna do. And those people, they make their plans and Allah makes plans. And I would just ask you, who do you think is the best of planners? I mean, can't sweat them. Gotta study. That's another thing. A lot of times we get played because of our ignorance. And people can smooth talk us and they sound good, they sound knowledgeable. So it's like, man, I don't know. So they sound right. I'm gonna run with that. Don't we play like that? Don't get caught up in the hustle, man. Study. And if you don't know, ask, where can I read that for myself at? Can you send me a link, the name of the book, the author title, what, so you can read it for yourself, study it, digest it, have a good understanding. Otherwise, you will get played. Unfortunately, man. So I'm gonna find one little thing to read, and I'm gonna lay it down for a second. I appreciate you guys tapping in. If you got a question, ask it now. I'm gonna log off in like 5, but I want to read something real quick. Read that before. Read that before too. I think that's a good way to end it. That's a good way to end it. Yeah. All right. Any last questions before I read this last line? Knock a question or two out. No? No questions? Going once. Going dos. Third time? All right, cool. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace. But there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days. And it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations in all lands. All nations of the earth are seeking peace right now. There's one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days. So in these days, there's one true and divine way that peace may be obtained. And that's through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's our creed, Moorish America's creed. So that's the Moorish American creed, the 5 highest principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations in all lands. So that means these teachings we're supposed to be getting to our brothers and sisters in Europe. Yes, that land, those nations too, all nations, all lands, taught universally, not just the Moors, not just the black people, not just the melanated people, not just the African Americans, not just the Moorish Americans, not just to Asiatics, universally taught in all nations, in all lands. And this is coming from the Quran, Circle 7. So I hope that you really digest that. And that if you are really serious about this movement and representing these principles, then I hope that you take it as an obligation or a duty to spread these lessons and these teachings to all nations in all lands. Because I think that is how we truly will uplift fallen humanity. That's how we will love instead of hate. I think I'm gonna end on that. I feel like that's good. Need to love instead of hate, man. Much love. Thank you guys. women, not just guys, people. Leave you with study what Noble Drew Ali said. Look up what love, true peace, freedom, and justice means. Look up what those words actually means. Look up what universally means. Look into Thoth, the Atlantean. Yeah, I think When the Rocks Cry Out, Horace Butler, Moor, Spain, Richard Fletcher, The Golden Age of the Moor, Ivan Van Sertima. Yeah. Come on, bud. Man, that's my bad. Little flying things and creatures and critters. And because, those are deities too. So when you harm that, man, you still, hey now. And that's going back to the Quran, mind you. But let me stop. Let me get off. Thank you. Much love. Ask people about that Supreme Grand Council. That's today. When you get up, you know what I mean? Or if you, shoot, what time is it? Jesus, it's 6:30 to the east. Yeah, today or the next time you see, Moore's teaching, Moore's speaking or posting about, say, hey, man, I got a question, man. This dude, Rami, was talking about the Supreme Grand Council. When are we going to address that and fix that as a nation, as a collective, as a group, as a whole? Just put it out there. Just keep putting it out there, see what happens. Much love. Keep shining. Peace. That was fun.